Go call the Planning and Zoning Committee to order, please. Robert, would you start us with the prayer, sir?
Sure. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for the sunshine that you brought our way in the cool weather. And Father, we know that you control everything. You created the universe and everything within it. Father, just ask for blessing on this meeting, that everyone will remain composed and with wisdom sent from you to make decisions that affect every citizen within this county. Father, sometimes we put our personal interest ahead of what's the interest of the entire citizens. We need to remove that. So Father, again, thank you for Chairman McFarland's leadership. We ask for a special blessing on him tonight and on all the committee members as we do go forward with this planning and zoning. So Father, most of all, thank you for Jesus, and it's in his name that I pray. Amen.
Amen. We have minutes. We looked at the minutes. Anybody got a motion?
Motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second. Any discussion? Please excuse my voice, but that's what I feel do for you. Oh, we got a second, ain't no discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Minutes have passed. Public comment. Anybody want to make public comment? Come on, Ken.
There's a copy for all these, all the members.
Thank you, sir.
This was sent via email, so if you've already got it, let me know and somebody else.
He printed his, I'm not.
I got
You
it.
bring one.
Yeah. How about you? I got one. Okay.
Yeah, I read it like it.
I've already read it.
There's several copies.
Let me have one of those, Mr. King, please.
One extra. Appreciate your patience, thank you. And this can go for the record, whoever keeps that, you keep.
I'm by the phone, yeah.
Okay, I'm Ken Young, 1221 Shop Springs Road. On March 27, 2025, Mr. McFarland asked the executive of the Director of the Water Authority at Planning and Zoning Committee meeting right here in this room. He asked about the number of homes that could be placed on 1 acre in a public sewer. The Executive Director replied 1 acre provides sewer for 17 homes. If you would please turn to page, it's about the 6th page. I'll show you what it looks like. This is the page. Yeah. At the top it says the application of proposed 20 homes per acre rule to the existing step systems. And if you start at the top and go right down, you can see the status of these current step systems. The Academy Road Treatment Facility has 113 homes per acre. Cedar Grove has 47 homes to acre. Man Road has 66 homes to the acre. Poplar Ridge 32, Sunset Harbor 43, Clay Estates 34, Cairo Bend 29. And then Ridgewater, which has been in the news, equates to 47 homes per acre. I think this is set up. This is a planning commission meeting.
Okay.
In March.
Wants to speak on this case today.
This is sworn testimony at a hearing. Sworn testimony.
sir.
Definition of ponding, I think he referred to as pond. The reason it's such a big concern, my understanding was the TWEPA is that water is very nutrient dense. It may be clean, but it's nutrient dense. When that pond and water washes downstream and ends up in your creeks and your waterways, huge environmental issues on environmental fish and whatever that's downstream. So I think ponding is a big issue on step systems when it washes downstream because it is very nutrient dense. They're like having a bunch of fertilizer water drop down into your water wells. Thank you.
Thank you.
That
Yes,
was,
sir, Mr. Liver?
that was just a prelude. That set the question up. And this is gonna be, how well are our step systems doing in Wilson
And
County?
yes, you're absolutely correct. And that's why they regulate us, because when they see ponding, we need to investigate and find out what's causing that, so it does not run off site and create nutrient loading on the streams. And that's why TDEC doesn't want point discharges, because they don't want any additional nutrient loading. So we want the soils to take and percolate down through and recharge groundwater.
Can I ask you an unfair question that may not have anything to do with this particular issue? As a whole, have the step systems by and large been successful and operated and
Yeah.
served their purpose?
Yeah, we've got over 40 some SOPs. I noticed a couple months ago, we had 8 NOVs. When I looked at them, 5 were totally cleared. And one was some of the ponding out there that you're talking about.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
overall, great.
Thank you.
Overall, great. Step systems are working overall great. Okay? Well, we've got a problem with step systems, and it is such a problem that we have it declared an emergency. The last budget meeting, we declared an emergency to get legislation or motions passed in this room to take care of these issues. And I have a proposal to take care of, to do what we can. So if you'll see the first page, the very bottom, what I'm recommending is to have, and I talked to Chris just a little bit, have a maximum of 20 residential houses per drip area by legislation. And I don't know if that can be put in the zoning amendment tonight. That needs to go in another document in planning. That needs to come out of the county. I'm not sure where it needs to go. But what that would do is that would put a guardrail up so we don't end up with the same sorts of problems that I just described. You know, when you have 100 homes on a step system, that's egregious. That's egregious. I'm not talking about nibbling around at the edges and trying to slow anything down. I'm trying to put guardrails up for the well-being of the citizens. And TDEC is not coming to save us. They don't have the muscle. They don't have the regulations. The Water Authority is not coming to save us. They're not going to change. Too much money involved. And if the school thinks for 1 second that they're going to get treated any different, they've got an education coming. So what I'm suggesting is just put this really tall cap so we keep from getting the egregious behavior. And that's 20 residential houses per acre of drip area. I'll take any question. Yes, sir.
How'd you come up with 20?
The math is in there.
Okay.
You can see on about the 3rd page
Okay.
and the 4th page.
I got it.
So what I did was, the executive director was very close. 17 was very close. This came out to 18. And I elevated it to 20, so there'd be no discussion about, well, we're trying to slow things down. No, that's not the point at all. Under my plan, you get to put more houses per acre than is even recommended. I pulled the consolidated utility district loading rates. That's the county to the south of us in Rutherford County. They only go up to 15 on their best soils. So it didn't slow growth down there at all. That's not what this is about. This is about the health and well-being of the citizens of this county, because the Water Authority is not going to help and TDEC isn't going to help. And so that's why I'm asking this committee or another commission to enact this. Yes, sir.
It's shows on, what is that, the 6th page or something, that there's like 8 or 9 that are failing. Should I don't know, maybe 6 of them come into compliance before we do more?
Well,
What's your thoughts on that?
Here's the thing. What I'm suggesting is only going forward, so the next subdivision doesn't get the same sort of treatment. These, for instance, the first one, Academy Road, that's the one where the school was supposed to go, maybe will go. That was never going to work. that didn't work from the beginning, it's not working now, it's not gonna work. The math doesn't work. So several of these are in that club, and it will take years and millions of dollars to fix all of these. And understand this too. It's not just me saying this. Every one of these problems, and there's a bunch more, these are just the major ones. Every one of these problems, there's a person's name associated with a complaint. These neighbors don't like this. They've complained. So, you know, I think it's incumbent upon the elected officials of this county to take the bull by the horns and do something. The water authority's not doing it. TDEC's not doing it.
Why didn't TDEC do it?
They had,
Can we get a TDEC person to come up here?
I don't know, you're the chairman.
Well, I thought you may know, I don't know about it, but I'd be glad to call.
My understanding is that they're very receptive. My understanding is that they've talked to the school, they've talked to the water, they've been here. So,
I haven't talked to him. If you give me a phone number and a name, I'll be glad to call him and see him.
no problem.
Or do a workshop or something. Go ahead, Ken.
That's all I've got. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Anybody else, public comment? Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it's my understanding y'all are gonna talk about the A1 right now, or, you know, in this upcoming meeting. And I'd just like to encourage y'all to stay at 80,000, or maybe even go, with some of what GNRC recommended, maybe 120,000 square foot for the, A1 lots. That's all I would say.
Thank you, sir. Since the agenda's kind of mixed up, we've got new business front, I want to give a little short briefing, to the committee, a little administrative announcements, if you will. For, about the last month or so, myself and some other gentlemen in the room here and others have talked about what the city of Smyrna is doing on our southern border. And I've got a gentleman I referred to him as a spy in that category. But I just think it's awfully dumb if Smyrna's gonna come up to the Wilson-Davidson County line and we're gonna do industrial out to the Rutherford County line, I'm sorry, Rutherford County, not Davidson. That we at least talk to each other and have some kind of, how we're gonna develop or whatever, because apparently they won't do the same thing that, develop small industry, whatever, that we're doing warehousing. Well, I got a comment Sunday, about it. Their planning commission passed this past week, and it's going to their council this week, to annex in between 452 on the north, 840 on the west, Mona Road on the east. They want to go further, but right now they're just looking at that particular area of annexing that in as an industrial park, quote unquote, for the city of Smyrna. They've already got 2 sleeves, I understand, under the interstate, in which they plan on running water and sewer to that part of the world. So, with that said, we'll move on. Chris, you want to start with, let me just say this. After our last meeting, Mayor Jennings put out 3 solutions, actually a 4th one, which would be an option we do nothing, but we've started one of them by doing an appeal, and now we need to discuss what we're gonna do on Lakewood. So, Chris, you wanna jump in, stars?
All right, the first thing for you is the lot size ordinance, and it's in front of you. It's the resolution with the 23-5-7. This is the one that was overturned by Judge Smith. This is a lot size ordinance to amend lot sizes for A2, A1, R1, R2, R3, and the flood requirements was everything that was entailed in this original ordinance that got overturned. So it wasn't just talking about R1 or A1 in this particular one. There was a lot involved in this particular ordinance that got overturned. What is in front of you is the exact ordinance that got overturned for procedural aspects. This is on the planning commission meeting from September 19th. I put the exact ordinance that county commission and planning and zoning committee agreed to put in front of the planning commission for a recommendation at that time. This is just affirming that decision. You can either vote to put it before planning commission, I will leave it on the agenda unless this body wants to make any sort of changes to that, because then the ordinance doesn't need to be on there, you're gonna be voting on something different. Or if they wanna make the action to take no action on the judge and just go back to live with the decision of CK Smith.
Bobby, you look like you want to say something.
Well,
Because otherwise I don't need a decision at that point.
since we're an advisory committee to the full legislative body here, they voted. I mean, we generally just recommend, right? Well, in this case, we have a vote.
Sir?
We already have a
Yeah.
vote. And so we know that this passed. So, I mean, I feel like we ought to send it just the way he put it on the agenda, exactly the way it was, because again, we're just an advisory committee. Our full board's already voted on this. We know what the vote total is. Got overturned, but it was voted on.
Is that for?
It didn't really get overturned, the procedure is what got overturned, and the chancellor said in there plainly that he was not acting on, say it this way, but the effect was, he didn't deal on the substantive part of it, he dealt.
Well, we did.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to send it back the way it's appears here.
We're starting all over again.
Well,
Me too.
Yeah.
right here.
Can, if it's amended, Mike, would that throw a kink in things?
Yeah, you need to,
I'd
have to re-advertise it.
Okay, is it a motion?
That's a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion to second.
Well, before we vote, I just want to talk about something. I was kind of shooting from the hip last week, not a month, or week. But I did some research, as luck would have it. Whoever wrote our ordinance actually mimicked, I don't have one, so you know. TCA is the first one, and they essentially talk about, we have the right to amend our ordinance, and it says first submitted to the planning commission for approval, disapproval, or suggestions. Doesn't say amendments, says suggestions. Well, on the second page is our existing regulation, and it's almost written completely out of the state law, which is good. I mean, approval, disapproval, or suggestions. So, if the planning commission thought that this recommending board was not the full legislative body and just sent an idea their way and then amended it and sent it on up, they could have thought that, I guess, but in this case, they can't think that. This was voted on by the county commission. This is the legislative body wanting to amend its own regulation. And so it's pretty simple, approval, disapproval, or suggestions. So it could come up there with a disapproval, right? But at least it would be publicly noticed the way we sent it. And we should be okay, right? That's how it happened.
Mike,
Yeah,
jump in here.
well, I'm always hesitant when somebody says okay, because you never know what a judge is gonna do. But looking at the law, that's right, and I will add to that, the discussion I had this afternoon, with another attorney, there is no case law out there defining what suggestions are. But if the state had meant to say amendments, they would have put that in there. So, I'm not sure what suggestions are, but role of the planning commission is to, send it up or vote, recommend it or not recommend it.
Walk us through the procedure, so I understand, so we're all on the same page. We forward this on as presented. Planning commission, the same body again,
Yes.
okay? Let's say that they don't vote in approval of it. So they don't make any recommendations. It will go straight to the county court to be voted on at that time.
With a negative recommendation. Yes.
What, but now let's say they vote on it to deny it and make recommendations. How do we address those recommendations that night?
You won't make your recommendations that night. What'll be advertised will be the,
It'd be the amendment that
Amendment.
was presented to
That's
the
what I'm
planning
getting at. So-
commission.
yes,
So whatever we advertised is what we have to vote on with no exception,
yes,
is the way we need to handle it.
yes, unless it's a very, very minor thing like changing an A to a D or something like that.
The only thing I can think of to get in front of that is if suggestions are made, because we advertise planning commission, they make a recommendation, it can be a positive recommendation with suggestion. My office does the advertisements for the county commission for amendments and rezonings. We can say that this is the resolution going before county commission. We don't typically put the recommendations in there, but we can put the amendment
I
as.
think in this instance, we need to put everything in.
We can put in there that it is being forwarded with so-and-so recommendation, or it could just be, it can be forwarded with suggestions from the planning commission for amendment. I mean, I
Question.
can,
And yeah, and then if the suggestion is for an amendment, the county commission says, well, that's a pretty good suggestion, we wanna deal with it, you want to send it back down to advertise.
So we would vote to defer
Send
the
it back
time.
down to and advertise it.
Would you send it back to the planning commission or does it come back here?
Well, you could probably keep it here, but you gotta defer it and say advertise it. I don't know,
Question.
I'd have to think about
Let
that.
me ask one more question. Mr.
Go ahead,
Just-
sir.
So, just for clarity, if the planning commission doesn't necessarily agree with what we sent, they would have the right to make recommendations,
Suggestions.
suggestions. It could go in front of the county court could say, we want to vote on this as presented, or we choose to consider these recommendations, or suggestions, and send it back to the planning and zoning committee. Would be the proper way
I don't,
to consider the suggestions.
I don't think it needs to be sent back. I think if you're going to have a public notice on what was there, that we presented, and then it'll be presented to you all with suggestions. You can either choose to ignore the suggestions or adopt the suggestions. If we're trying to follow the procedural process that CK is, it would almost be like we're gonna adopt the suggestions, we're gonna bring it back to the floor next month, and I'll re-advertise it with the suggestions in the amendment.
Well, everything I can gather and read, the main thing that I think this whole body, as far as the county court needs to understand, whatever is put in that resolution
Right.
is what we need to affirm or deny. We don't need to make any kind of changes that night.
Well, that's why you
You know,
you just,
am I wrong about that?
I would think you could do differently, be to defer.
Okay.
You
What-
just-
Which the first not voting on.
No, it's not.
you'd just be
But-
adopting the suggestions, and then the next month I'd come back with the resolution. that you're
No,
gonna
so
vote.
in other words, Mike's telling us at that time, if we're not happy, we would have the option to defer. And at that point, where's it gonna go, Mike?
Public hearing.
If you deferring what's up there in front of you just to put it off till the next month,
Well,
it's gonna come back.
Well, what if it's to have time to consider the planning commission's recommendations?
Suggestions.
That-
There will never be a recommendation.
Suggestions, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
And I'm not trying to be a smart aleck, but there is no case law defining suggestions.
Well,
And I'm gonna jump in here and say Wilson County don't need the one word.
Well, they number one.
Don't wanna be the one.
And we don't need to be the one word.
well, that's kind of why I'm making
I
all of
figured
this,
that's where you're
trying to
going.
get this lined out, the procedure we need to go through and not make any type of mistake.
Got a question, Mike. I hear make a positive recommendation or make a negative recommendation. The law says approve or disapprove, period,
Yeah, that's,
or suggestion. But where did the positive recommendation and negative recommendation, who pulled that out of the air?
well, I don't know, it's just always been that way, but the planning commission has no authority to approve it or disapprove it at that level. They send it up. So maybe the
Check there,
motion
approval or
doesn't,
disapproval.
maybe the motion needs to be up there, motion to approve or disapprove. And then when Christopher makes his recommendation.
Robbie, know what
it
your
comes up with
statute shows here?
Approval button.
Well,
Section
actually,
50-02.
believe it or not, in our ordinance, it says that if it's disapproved at the planning commission, then it has to be asked to go to the full legislative body. You have to ask. Like if it's somebody who was going to rezone something and it got turned down by the planning
yeah.
commission,
Yeah,
they would have 10
they
days
request, yeah.
or no fewer than 35 days prior to the next Wilson County meeting, which So we kind of took that a little bit further, so I guess they could disapprove it, and that would kind of stand if somebody didn't want to go forward with it, in our way.
When you, who would do the asking? Would we?
The person who wanted to rezone property, somebody out there, they wanted R1 or something, and it got disapproved of the planning commission, he'd have to ask within 10 days or it wouldn't go.
Right, right, but we're talking about the
That's
rules.
I don't think that would be the case for a zoning amendment, because that's already,
This is.
yeah, well, that's like, that entitles land use amendments and rezonings as well, and up there, this way I haven't heard it. If a zoning amendment is disapproved by the planning commission, it's already been asked to go to the full county commission by this committee, the way that it's designed. It goes to the planning commission for recommendation. If they disapprove it, I
Well, it
mean, I
says
guess
right here,
maybe
Chris.
somebody from this committee needs to recommend it.
It says if the planning commission shall disapprove the amendment shall not be forwarded to the county commission for a vote unless it is called for by the county commission or unless it is requested in writing by the person or entity seeking the amendment that it be sent to the county commission for a vote.
Right. And I'm
It
not,
says that.
I'm not arguing that point. I'm saying if this committee sends it to the planning commission for a recommendation, aren't they already calling for it to get to the county
we are.
commission floor?
We are, but I'm just saying, the question was, is it, are we approving or disapproving it? It's the county planning commission. The way ours is written, it kind of says approve or disapprove.
Mm-hmm. That is correct. Let's see, we got a motion on the floor, we got a second, is that correct?
Can
Okay.
I make sure that I
Yes, sir.
understand, are you motioning to send back what, the exact same resolution?
Exactly, yes,
So
sir.
you want it set on September 19th?
Yes.
Okay.
Are we sure we want to do that? Do we want to take that chance to be challenged by that body? Because it was put on the agenda
Challenged by who?
by the public again. It was put on the planning commission's agenda prior to us meeting and forwarding it. That's what scares me. I just don't see any need in opening any door.
I agree.
You see what I'm
Any
saying?
technicality?
I hate to put it off for 30 days, but 30 days is not gonna be a
Will kill us.
killer to anybody. But
I'm based,
I mean,
that's all,
the way I look at it, we're a recommending body. We vote by committees and all we do is recommend. We don't have any authority other than our recommendation.
yeah.
And our full board has already voted to do this. We're just a little piece of that board. That's all I'm saying. I don't wanna try to overrule it.
Like I say, I'm just hesitant to worry about opening the door for another lawsuit that drag on for years, is what I'm worried about. Because we know how long the last one took.
Well, I think this slams it about as shut as you can get it.
Everything about that agenda's been advertised the way TCA
But
requires.
it was put on the agenda before this body is voting right now to forward it to the planning commission. That to me is
Yeah,
just
but
the
if they're gonna
cart
argue,
before the horse.
yeah, but if they're gonna argue a procedural argument there, not every jurisdiction has this body. Things get put on the planning commission agenda without a recommendation from this particular body. This is a,
Mike,
This is a legal matter, I
Self-created
guess, so
body.
I'm gonna have to refer to our attorney's opinion and go back his plate.
I think you could send it on because it's already been approved here. Could somebody challenge it? I can't tell you that they
Well, I
would
mean,
not.
I understand they
Yeah.
can challenge anything, I
Yeah.
understand that, but, the reason I'm making this comment is I do hate to put it off, but 30 days is not gonna be a deal breaker one way or another about anything for anybody. And we would know we would be in the correct forum at that time.
Could we call C.K. Smith and get his blessing?
No.
I don't know.
we don't need any
exactly
smart
how-
alecks in the courtroom at the moment. Bobby, your motion again,
It's just to send it what we've already voted.
send it on.
Send it on. This is the way Christopher put it on this.
Any other discussion? The motion is stand, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let's see a show of hands so we know who did. I'm gonna vote for it. Right? Three of us.
Is that good?
Three, well, you got 3, 4?
Got three.
Doesn't pass. Takes 4.
Okay. Any reconsideration anywhere?
So I'm reading the tea leaves here. I think the reason it failed is because of September 19th agenda.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
That's why I'm not,
You
you
gonna get
didn't ask me to
That's
look
next
at
week.
it so I could give them a reason.
Yeah.
It's next-
Well, I'm sorry,
Oh.
but do we need to do a negative vote here?
Well, yeah, I mean, I want it to go to the planning commission, I just don't want it to go in September. I don't wanna open that
I'll
door.
tell a little story.
No.
Be quiet. I used to work for Two Star and tell the two-star general, we need to do so-and-so. He said, are you sure, McFarland? I said, yeah, I'm sure. He said, you bet your job on it. And makes you think real hard then, you know.
Did they fire
So-
you?
Pardon?
Did he fire you?
No, promoted me.
Well, I'll tell you why I wanted to go fast. He's 2 years old, folks.
I
It still
just,
does 2 years to do this form of business, and here's the other thing. Everybody's talking about it's being A1, about A1 2 acres. This ain't what this is about. This is about R1 going from 25,000 square foot to 40,000 feet. And if anybody doesn't wanna come out and say it, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it.
Thank you.
And so, the longer we wait, is the longer the tent's gonna be held up for developers to run under it. And believe me, they're sitting down there in the R1 neighborhood, they're probably not gonna bombard A1 with any one lot subdivisions or anything, but you're gonna see Lebanon and Mount Juliet's planning commission get riddled with something here real quick. So if you won't put it off and let them run under the tent, that's fine with me, I guess, but I just don't think that's, we've already put this off 2 years. How much longer should it take? It's kind of the will of the commission.
Suggestion. Mike?
Suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
This
got it.
this is gonna look like I'm taking sides, and that's not my job.
Go
But if you're
ahead.
gonna send it up, it's gonna have 4 votes. If you're gonna send it to the planning commission, whether it goes in September, October, or on Christmas, you're gonna have 4 votes. Well, I'm being smart, and I acknowledge that. But I think reading the tea leaves here, you got 4 votes to get it there in October.
I'll make a new motion that we forward it in October.
We have a motion to forward in October. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion on, move forward in October? No further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay?
No.
It's really never
Then I have,
Oh,
aye.
so it passed. So it's going to October.
5-1, did I get the count right?
4-2.
Who was it?
2 was the other.
4. How'd you vote?
I'm saying, yeah, fine.
Yeah, okay.
5 yes?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Okay. Make sure I got it right. So we sent the same resolution, but put it on the planning commission agenda in October, right?
Put it on the planning commission in October.
And I was,
Okay.
and I fully wanted to go planning commission. I made the original motion. I just wanted to go quick. That's the only reason.
Oh.
I understand.
I'm not upset. I'm not gonna cry.
Oh.
All y'all disagreed on was the,
Oh, the twists and turns. Chris, next item.
We've already talked on this a little bit, I think, with Delaware. But this is to appease everybody that comes through here, is to discuss the process for future zoning amendments on how those should be handled prior to being seen by the county commission. I just want kind of a defined process, because if you remember this original land use amendment, it came to planning and zoning, there were planning commission, it came back to planning and zoning. We probably bounced back 4 or 5 times before it ever got to the planning commission floor. Trying to cut down on some of that circular motion. So unless, and this is my idea, and you all can either shoot it down or whatever, unless a zoning amendment is originated in planning commission, the process, if it's originated by the public, any other public official, or the legislative body, I'm gonna make the application, it's going to come to planning and zoning first, for you all to lay eyes on it. They tailor it, you can make amendments to it there's no votes happening on that, we can have more than one meeting at planning and zoning committee to amend it without getting in sort of any public notice debacle. After you all are satisfied with it, you will then forward it to the planning commission for a approval, disapproval, or suggestion based off this TCA law. And then we'll get that, and that suggestion will then go to the legislative body, the full county court. If there's suggestions and we don't get a positive approval, there is the process that we can come back here. I don't have the desire to bring it back to you all after you've already forwarded it. I feel like those suggestions can be handled on the floor, if there are any.
Comments from the committee.
Can I read something from our own ordinance? This is where it's different from the state. It's another, the state does not say this, but we do. Our rule says introduction of amendments. The county commission may amend the regulations, restrictions, boundaries, or any other provisions of this regulation. Any member of the county commission may introduce such amendment, or any official, board, or any other person may present a petition to the county commission requesting an amendment or amendments to this regulation. The reason I'm pulling this and reading this verbatim is because we just got hung out in the cold by our local chancellor because we didn't do something right. And so I think anything we change we want to do, we want to make sure that we're at least following our own rules, or we're going to just have to go to this part, 650-01, and change that in our ordinance. Because it says any commissioner, even you, make a rezone. It says any official. Official? That's a lot of people around here. County commission, official board, any board. We got a lot of boards around here. I mean, it looks like to me, anybody can ask for an amendment to our ordinance. We'd have to probably honor it by our own rules unless we want to change the rules. Does that conflict with what you're trying to do?
No,
Okay.
not at all. I would just, if anybody makes that petition, regardless of who makes it, I don't have any issue with that. My first stop to make everything smoother is to bring it to this body first, to then forward it to the planning commission. I don't think there's any time constraint on when there's nothing in here that I've read that states that after a petition is made, you have so long to get it to the planning commission. I mean, if it takes you all 2 meetings to figure out a middle ground on that, then we'll forward it after you get to through those 2 meetings. But no, that doesn't interfere with what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm just trying to get a step process, and if there's a petition made from a legislative official or any other kind of board or official, the first step is going to be this body to hear out, to kind of cut down on some of the discrepancies.
And if there's a question on the commission floor, they can always send it back to committee and start it over.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
So you're asking that we change procedures?
I'm just getting one that you all are comfortable with, because right now our procedure is, it has to go before, there's not like a step. It says it has to go to the planning and zoning committee and our bylaws, our government book, and then it has to go to the planning commission. It doesn't say which order. I'm just more trying to get a procedural adoption on which order we want to follow. I can take the planning commission
TCA
first.
sort of dictates that, and it might be in a way, it says we have the right to change. But then we have to submit it to the planning commission for approval, disapproval, or suggestions.
It doesn't recognize our committee.
So, so it's more, but that still gives the starting point where it goes and then where it goes
Yeah.
after that.
I think it does.
I think that kind of dictates how it has to go. It can't start in the planning commission and come back here. But if you read people,
Well, right, no, I don't think it should have to ever come back here.
I mean, so you're saying
But in the
this
past.
committee just needs to be,
You want to gel up the procedures?
Yes, sir. In the past, resolutions have they've gotten recommendations from the planning commission, and then they've been forwarded to the planning and zoning committee before they hit the commission full. Based off the way that some of that is, that handcuffs you all in the ability to make any sort of amendments or tailor it to something that you feel like can get passed on the committee floor. And at that instance, that's the first time you've all have seen it in most instances, is after it's been given a recommendation by the planning commission.
What's the pleasure of the committee?
So I don't know if that's,
Well, all right. What if we didn't like it? What if this board, Tommy looks over at me and he says, I don't like what the planning commission wants to do. Think you're crazy.
You do that every month, don't you?
I'm just picking him out of anybody. But what happens if we did disagree with the planning commission? Would we have any authority to do anything anyway? I guess that's my question. Because in the state statute, it doesn't even recognize us.
Yeah, and this committee is the creature of the county commission. So we don't have the authority of state law behind us. We have the requirement to follow the state law, but we're not created by the state law. So planning commission and county commission are gonna be what controls it. in my opinion.
So does it need to come back here? Through here?
After
After a recommendation of the planning commission? I guess that's what he's asking. Now, I guess my question is, what could we do anyway?
Well, because the recommendation of the planning commission is gonna go up to the county.
Straight to the commission.
Right, and I'm trying to get us out of that situation, so like, I think it's my opinion that the first step should be your all's committee after a petition is made to change the zoning resolution in any form. And then you all will then forward it to the county commission for a recommendation, or the planning commission for a recommendation. After the planning commission makes the recommendation, then it's going straight through the commission floor. Now, I believe the planning commission, I don't wanna get back in that, if they completely disagreed with it, I mean, I think that it just needs to be a negative recommendation. I don't think they need to send it back to you all to rewrite it. But I'm trying to get away from that.
Well, and I wanna get away from that too, but could that not be a suggestion? If they make a suggestion, say, we
That'd
don't
be-
like this, we want you to go back and redo it.
Wouldn't that be a suggestion made to the county commission and
It
then they
really
would send
should
it
be.
back to the
Yeah.
committee?
It really should be.
That's where I'm trying to get to.
Once it gets out here, you're saying once it gets out of here, they're done.
Yes, unless the county commission
Yeah.
resends it back to this committee to start back over.
Yes.
That's what I think it needs to be done. I just need something in mind.
Procedure.
Something more concrete and that everybody's comfortable with in the process of this. as opposed to-
Well, the committee.
Well, the other question I got is, are we going to, should we allow the planning commission on something that we send them to have one of the three different alternatives? I mean, is it approved, is it not approved, or do they just have some suggestions? I mean, that's all the state says they have the authority to do. They don't have the authority to really say, oh, we wish you'd start all over on this. They don't really have that authority. We're asking for an amendment to our zone, ordinance. We only have one ordinance. I'm kind of picky about giving up the only control over the only one ordinance we have. You know, we don't have one ordinance in the county. It's a zoning ordinance, the only one we got. And we own full authority to amend it, the way it looks like to me. And so it only gives the planning commission three options. And so why would we ever give them a fourth? I think we tried to give them a fourth and got ourselves in trouble.
Well,
No,
Well, we did.
the mess started right here.
You think?
Yeah,
Well,
it started here.
well, maybe I'm oversimplifying things, but I think what Christopher's suggestion is a 1-2-3 approach. Y'all are one, planning commission two, county commission three.
Okay.
And it's either gonna be voted up or down.
Okay.
One place of the, and two particular places. Even if y'all decide not to send it, I guess, under our local rules, a minority report is allowed, and somebody could send that on to the planning commission.
But in this instance, with what we're doing, we're right here.
Yes,
We made a recommendation to the planning commission.
yes, sir.
What should have happened by those rules that you're laying out, we should have got that resolution presented to us that we presented
With
to the planning
suggestions.
commission
With the negative.
With a
with
positive and
a
a negative.
approval, disapproval, or suggestions at that time.
Yeah,
But what we did, we voted on a totally different resolution than what this committee sent to the,
Correct.
well, that's a lie. We did not vote on it. We voted to substitute it back to the original
That's right.
recommendation of this committee.
I'm trying to get away from that.
Well, I
Well, we
understand
publicly
that.
noticed that one.
Now,
yeah, that probably ain't gonna happen again.
well, so what should,
No,
but what should have came to us was the original recommendation from this committee with whatever the planning commission sent with it.
Well, we come back here.
I didn't say come back.
You said
I
to us.
To the governing body, excuse
Okay,
me, not
I'm
the
sorry.
committee.
I thought you.
But what came into the county commission for us to vote on originally was the recommendation that the planning commission made.
That's good.
And we chose to substitute back to what we
The first
originally recommended.
That's right.
So how do we, I think it's just a matter of the resolution that was presented to us was the wrong resolution.
The
Is
way,
that not gonna be the facts?
that, correct. We in the past, the way that that's been up, it's went from, that one was different. It came back and forth so many times, but the way it ended up going is it came to this body, you all recommended a resolution, and went to planning commission, and in the past, we've always allowed suggestions, I guess, kind of got misconstrued as amendments. So we've allowed the planning commission to make amendments and send it with amendments. So the one that they amended That's the one that got advertised.
Mhm.
The
But it
way,
didn't come as amended, it came as it was totally what they recommended.
well, correct.
Yeah.
We took,
I mean, I know
Yes.
that's kind of splitting hairs, but
yes, it was changed per their recommendation, and that's what got advertised, was the amended resolution.
so what
you
you're
all-
wanting to happen is whatever this body
Whatever
forwards
this
to the
body
planning
forwards.
commission,
Mhm.
they will approve, disapprove, or make suggestions.
Correct. The
And
planning
that will be
commission
on
will
the
vote.
side of what we present to the planning commission.
Yes, and the planning commission will make those, and then it'll go to the full county court. And you all, I'm going to present planning commission's recommendations for or against, or if they don't have either and they are forwarding it with suggestions, I will present those suggestions. If you all want to entertain those suggestions, then you'll say, you know what, that is something we wanna do, we're going to send it back we're gonna send it back down to planning
So
and
we
zoning
go
committee
to
to
the first-
rewrite the zoning resolutions to get the correct one advertised. There
That's,
won't be amendments to a zoning resolution on the floor going forward until CK changes his mind.
Put that in the form of a motion, and I'll make that.
Let me make sure I understand here. If we have planning commission this month on any issue, not this one. But if somebody down there makes a motion to amend what's on the floor, that's gonna be out of order
At planning commission,
at planning
yes,
commission.
it would be a motion of a suggestion.
It's gotta be approval, disapproval, or we're making a suggestion.
Yes, sir.
but they could suggest to send it back here too,
Well, then they're gonna have to,
with reason.
I don't,
I don't think so.
it wouldn't come back to you. I mean, they could make that suggestion, I don't know why they would, because you've all already told them that you want their recommendation. I don't know why they'd send it here.
I'm just devil's advocate here.
It's just
I think
complicated.
you gotta stick with 1, 2, 3.
I'm not putting that in my procedure.
Whatever.
And we have a commissioner that likes to.
Yeah, I'm sorry, just tell me what you want, Tom.
Making this change, does this hurt our case in the appeal?
No, I don't think so.
Is
Because
it
it's
basically
gotta
the-
stand on, the evidence that was presented to the court, not what's done outside extraneous.
So they're not
Bet
gonna
your
look
job
at,
on it.
well, you went ahead and,
Do what?
You bet the job on it.
No, I
There
wouldn't
you
put my
go.
job on that, but as I said before, I'll say again, judges can do whatever they want to. So I always get tickled when y'all say, can you guarantee something? The only thing I can guarantee, if I live long enough and y'all get done, I'm going home.
Okay,
Mike, you may know, and to answer Blake's question, I don't remember the legal term, but there's a legal term that you can mitigate after the fact, and that doesn't have any effect.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I
Yeah,
cannot recall the
but I don't remember
the
the
legal
term
term,
either,
so.
but
It's like if somebody slips and falls on your steps, and then you go out and throw salt down.
yeah,
what's the status here? We got a motion?
Tommy wants.
I don't know, I don't even know
I'll
what the
make a
question is.
motion. You wanna walk through it so he gets it just right, Christopher?
Yeah, sure, yeah, so,
1, 2, 3.
for zoning amendments going forward, the process will be as follows. Planning and zoning committee to be forwarded to the planning commission to make a approval, disapproval, or suggestion, and then county commission to be the last step.
And that motion will be forwarded to the county commission with whatever approval, disapproval, or suggestions from the planning commission.
From the
The
planning.
resolution won't be changed.
No, sir,
Okay.
not going forward.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion second. Do we have any further discussion? Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Christopher, next.
Planning commission is going. Did you,
No, I said that was fine.
you share?
I should be
Say amen,
I
did
should be-
The last item, new business that needs some sort of action, and this is not pressing, so it can get moved if we need to. It's the USAC, the Corps of Engineers Phase 2. This is the scope of work for the Spring Creek watershed. The map, copy of the map in your all's packets. There's also, I emailed it to all the commissioners districts that were affected by this scope. I only see one here, but I don't know if they've reached out to you in the interim on that or not. To kind of delineate what's here, the green is the existing Spring Creek watershed, the scope. The dark blue that's down the middle is the main stem of Spring Creek. That is the main stem. The brown patch marks at each end, that is the current scope of the FEMA study for the FEMA regulatory flood maps. It starts at the lake and it ends at Young Road, and that's the current scope. All the other blue offshoots are tributaries. We do have the option to study those tributaries as part of this study. I need to report back to them on which tributaries we want to include in the study, or if we don't and we just want to restudy the main stem, they're willing to do that. I'm going to let you know this is
Part of it.
At present, the scope of the study, which is just the main stem, the county's portion would be $241,000.
My suggestion was, and Chris and I talked about this, is that we leave off everything above Young Road to reduce the cost, but add back in some of the tributaries downstream that have been known to flood. I spoke with John Jewell about it, and John, I guess, knows more about excuse me, up around the county and flooding than anybody in his years up there. He said he doesn't know of anything that's been seriously flooded above Young Road.
Top of the hill ain't no road.
And that's right,
That's right.
exactly. But there are some tributaries down in the Hartsville Pike area and at 231, not 231, Carthage Highway that possibly need to be studied. We need a little historical data on that. So I guess you're just giving us a briefing on what we're looking at right now.
Yeah, so if you exclude from Young Road everything to the south, that cuts out some of the major tributaries, but the major ones are named. Not say that the ones that aren't named are not major, it's just they don't have delineated names. But from the south of Young Road, starting from Young Road heading north, the first one is Deadman Branch. Then there's a unnamed tributary on Lindsley Road. The next one is Black Branch, and that one goes under Sparta Pike. And, it's the ones that I know that have some issues are the ones that are kind of parallel 40. They're unnamed tributaries, but they are the ones that cross 40 and Bluebird Road. There's two there. One is smaller than the other, but I know Bluebird Road has had flooding under those tributaries. There's that, and then as you keep heading north, the next major branch is Link Branch, and that's the one that goes directly under Hartsville Pike. It's got a significant box over it. And then the next major tributary is just to the east of Hunters Point Pike. It's Wilborn Branch. It's just one stem. It parallels on Hunters Point Pike, and then the last one before you get to the lake, the last named branch is Graves Branch. Well, let you know, I don't have a lot of knowledge on that one. As we get up into the smaller old fishing camp villages, I don't have a lot of knowledge of flooding up there. It is more topography related up there. Once you get to the lake, the streams are more, it gets to the lake a little quicker. So I don't have a lot of flooding concerns over there. The only thing that's going to be emitted from the south is we had that microburst. It's 2023 that kind of flooded the Shop Springs area, and it got over Sparta Pike in that instance. Now that was a very specific event, but that'd be the only thing that would be your study wouldn't include if you omitted everything to the south of Young Road.
Let me address three things. First of all, the reason for studies is to make sure we don't have a critical lot. Let somebody build on a critical lot that's gonna get flooded. We don't need that liability. Secondly, the model that emergency management WEMA uses is threat, watch, warning, impact, and recovery. And the threat part, when you go to warning, that's when they need to be able to get people to higher ground or off the road or whatever. And the last thing is road commission. With more roofs and asphalt going down and more flooding that could occur, any future roads that need to be raised or bridges that need to be replaced. The Corps does a bail out, future bail out, they do that to say, okay, this bridge needs to be able to have so much volume pass through it, but it may not have that now. So that's the whole purpose of the study, those three issues. Anything else, Chris?
No, I mean, I will, contact the city on this, tell them that we're interested in it. I mean, it didn't help with the last time. But from Eastover Road, if you go north all the way to 141, a lot of that area is in their urban growth boundaries, so they will benefit from the study. They benefited from going to go on Spencer Creek as well. I mean, they were an active member in the discussions on that. And Maddie Neely, their engineer that, reviewed it, she was very helpful and informative to the board on that.
If you can get some historical data on the creeks, not the creek, but the tributaries going to the creek, some need to be studied, some don't. And then we'll go back to the court and get a final dollar amount.
Okay.
So we wanna leave this out and add this in.
This 241 covers all of them, all right, Bruce?
That covers
No, that two
Just
forty-one
creek.
covers what is highlighted in blue on that map.
Just what's in blue, not the tributary.
None of the tributaries.
That's what I'm saying, leave the upper end that doesn't flood off and have tributaries.
And before you calculate, it's not like linear, it's not linear foot per linear foot is the cost of the study. They do it based off the severity of the tributary, how much due diligence they have to do on that. So I mean, if you just eliminate, I don't know, that's probably 3 miles of stream. It's not like you get 3 miles of tributary. It's not an apples to apples. But it will help mitigate some of that cost if you eliminate that 3 miles of the stream.
Anything else, Chris?
Not under new business, no, sir. I've got some
Okay.
additional information. If you want me to start on that or not.
Sir?
You want me to go through my additional information?
Sure. Quickly.
So are you just tabling this for, with historic data, report?
Yeah, we'll go on.
Okay. I can give you more detailed on some of those watersheds. Additional information, there's a work session that the planning commission has asked for. They want the planning and zoning committee involved. It's regarding the PUD ordinance. This is to be held in October. Well, I'm looking at, a morning meeting most likely from 10 to 11:30, for that. From 10 to 11:30, it'll be the second week or third week in October is what I'm looking at. Just gave my calendar away. I believe it's the 5th, 6th, 7th, and then the 12th, 13th.
What dates again, please?
6,
I
7,
think it's the 5th, 6th, 7th. It's the first full
5th is a
week.
Sunday.
Okay, so 6th, 7th, and 8th of October, and then 13, 14, and 15 would be a 10 to 11:30 workshop for that PUD ordinance. Those are the days.
You gonna do it here, or do it?
I'll do it in the commissioner.
Commissioner.
Some of that'll be delineated on when I can get the commission room, but I got narrowed down to those 6 days. And the planning commission will be involved. I'm gonna bring those dates to them too and make sure there's not any major conflicts on their end, and then I'll notify everybody on that. That PUD ordinance is to get a recommendation from the planning commission at their November meeting.
No, so we better hurry. What we gotta do with it? We get the 6th, huh?
Well, I mean, they'll still have an October planning commission meeting before then. I mean, that gives me,
17th.
yeah, it gives me a little bit of room. I need it done before the 30th of October, because that's when I have to have everything on my agenda. I
Okay.
mean, it's already on that agenda, but I think they will have a work session prior to that. So those are the days I'm looking at so far, just to notify you all they did request the planning and zoning committee be present to answer Bobby's next question. I'm still seeing if I can certify CEC for that.
I was kind of just kidding. I'll take an hour or two if you go.
The second thing is the land use public input meeting is to be held at Cumberland University Alumni Hall, September 25th at 5:30 p.m. You'll also be receiving an email within the next, hopefully by the end of this week. That email will include some links that you all can send out to any of your constituents. Feel free to post it on your social media page. It'll be compatible with that as well. But you'll be getting a detailed email to help get the word out as most as humanly possible. It's already on the county website. It's been placed on there. The press release, I believe, is going out soon with the Tennessean. That's been out there. And then I've reached out some to the JCDB committee and the Mount Juliet and Lebanon Chamber of Commerce are going to push it out as well. And then there's some neighborhood.
Who's gonna be briefing?
It'll be myself and GNRC will be doing the briefing. There'll be a setup in front. It'll have the draft map will be there, the draft, land use types will be there, and there'll also be the draft policy. It'll be as close as we can get to a final version before it goes back to the steering committee. It'll be the last public input meeting for that.
Who from GNRC will be ready?
Jessica Hill.
Just for the,
Same
so
thing.
we understand, I keep hearing different processes. What, when the committee finally is ready to recommend something, what'll be the process for it being approved?
So the steering committee will present all the public input back to the steering committee to make any final changes before it's recommended to the planning commission. The planning commission will then have the last say over the land use plan as it sits. In this instance, they are not the recommending body, they are the approval body for the land use plan. They also can send it back to committee to make further amendments and recommendations if there's not something that sits right there. But if planning commission approves it, everything that I've heard from the mayor and the county commissioners, they want it forwarded to the county commission, so the county commission has the option to adopt it as well. It's not required for the county commission to adopt it, but it seems to be that that's the direction we're
If
going.
that's the case, what happens when the county commission voted to deny?
Just means you're going to vote to deny to not, you're not gonna be tied to it. Similar to how you're tied to the one now, so right now, land use amendments come before the county commission, all land use amendments do. You all vote on them in tandem with your rezoning request. You'll still have purview over rezoning requests, should be the last stop for that. If you chose to deny it and not be tied to it, land use amendments would then fall under the purview of the planning commission. So if a land use amendment is not approved, the applicant can still make an appeal to be before the county commission, but you will get the recommendation from the planning commission that they denied the land use amendment for this case, and that would be one of those things that the county commission has to consider. You don't have to follow it at that point, you don't have to amend the land use plan at that point. You just have to be notified that the land use amendment wasn't.
My motivation for that question is, so the answer to the people that are calling me, is their commissioner want me to be on board with it or opposed to it, I can tell them that the planning commission has final approval of it.
They have final approval of the land use plan, yes, sir. They're not the recommending body in this instance.
Okay.
You slid that knock on.
If we vote that way.
He did, didn't he? He did.
Something on my mind.
Anything else? I get you anything else?
That's all I have in this
You got a
year.
comment from the back of the room?
Yes, just a quick comment. Would you guys or would somebody have the right to, do it, as Commissioner Franklin spoke, to have a moratorium for 30 days or 60 days on zoning requests while this goes forward? Is that doable? So that so all your developers don't come over the fence and rezone their.
Does anybody know what the latest is on Hendersonville is done a 90-day moratorium?
Yeah.
And Gallatin is too?
Hendersonville's moratorium is an apartment complex.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And I didn't know if you could tie it until this got in front of the county commissioners, if you could. I don't know, I'm just asking.
That's the way it is right now. Right now, we're at 1 acre, correct?
We're what?
We're at 1 acre, right this minute.
R1 on sewers and half acre.
What he's talking about is not consider anything
Right.
until either the resolution y'all are sending up gets determined or the appeal gets determined.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, I don't know what the authority is for a moratorium. You know, when TDEC comes out and says you can't add anybody to your sewer system, they can do that, but I've never seen the authority for a county to do it. Now, the option,
Did
do what?
one.
Did it
We
109?
did one at 109.
We did.
That was resolution on the county commission.
Sure
We
did.
did.
It was a moratorium for
4, 5, 6 years.
Any-
About 109 being built.
any rezoning density increases is the language of that.
That's correct.
Until 109 was.
And nobody challenged it.
No, sir.
So as far as we know, we had the authority.
We did it. But
Well, that's what I'm saying, we did it, nobody challenged it.
I'm gonna let you know, since 109 has been done, we've only had one rezoning in that area that was designated for moratorium, so I don't know if it was I mean, it was set, yes, but I don't know if it actually prevented anything.
Is the moratorium still in effect?
No, no, no.
No, it's been gone.
To answer the question, I don't know.
If somebody challenged it by the time it got through the court system,
Yeah.
it would all be a done deal anyway.
Yeah,
One way
you
or
know,
the other, so.
Kind of comes under the category, it's easier to get forgiveness than it is permission.
Oh, no.
A great American said that. I don't like the sound of that.
My question would be, what's the pleasure of the committee?
Yeah.
Well, in municipal planning, they won't take application if it's being considered.
But there's
But
gotta
I
be
don't know if they
basis
were
for that.
right either. I mean, they could have been
And
unchallenged.
as you very correctly said earlier in this meeting, we only have the authority and they only have the authority for what the state gives us. And I've never seen where the state gives the county planning commission the authority to impose a moratorium. But if you do it and nobody challenges it, you know, no harm, no foul.
The last
But
moratorium,
ultimately, you could get sued, yes.
the last moratorium was done by the county commission, it wasn't.
Well, I know, but still, they've got to have the authority.
I can go back and chase that resolution down, I think.
Whether we did or did not, we did it.
We did it
We
and got
did
away
it.
with it, somehow.
Yeah, we did.
Perhaps legally, perhaps illegally, we got away with it.
His office didn't issue any permit.
Well, you were still here.
Well, I was. What do you mean still here? It's going back now.
So final.
I hope I was.
Any other comment or motion from the committee?
And I guess the only thing about that moratorium is since this has been requested to go on the October agenda, my October agenda is not gonna get published till the end of the day on September 30th, I believe, which is the Tuesday there. So I don't have any on my upcoming planning commission that is under the new law. But anything that gets submitted to my office before then, I don't know if, I think planning commission will just have to defer this amendment, but it's still on an agenda, so I don't know how that works on whether or not it's active to get back to your. Like, is it active or is it just,
Well, let me say this, this is not on the agenda tonight,
no?
so you
this
can't
is
vote
not.
on it. Yeah, I'm not trying to take coward's way
You
out.
talking moratorium?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you wanna consider that, you wanna consider it
Next
soon,
month.
call another meeting,
Yeah.
so we can do it and put that on
Do we have any other business? Anything else, Christopher?
Yes, sir.
Do we have
I'll
any?
make one statement.
Yes, sir.
I think it's appropriate to do this. Talking about our appeal, talking through all this with Mike, the committee, different legal minds. I voted the other night to forward to the county commission to appeal that decision by the chancellor. But the more I've dug into it and tried to educate myself, I believe we acted in error. I can't vote for an appeal when it goes in front of the county court next month, or this month.
Sure.
Because if we acted inappropriately, the chancellor really right, and we've sat and discussed what we did wrong numerous times tonight. And so, I'd just like to make that statement.
Thank you for your statement. Any further?
Yeah, I wanna make one. I'm gonna have to go ahead and vote for it, and I'll tell you why. Because even though we did make an error, so did C.K. Smith. His ruling is set up to where if we can't ever amend something on the floor of the county commission with respect to a zoning ordinance amendment, there's no sense in having a PUD ordinance workshop, because there won't be any PUDs.
But what you showed me, Bobby, with TCA is more or less what's making me make my statement. Right?
Yeah, but before his ruling, if you wanted to amend on the floor, Providence got a negative recommendation to the Mount Judah Planning Commission. It was unanimous. You can go out and look at it. It happened.
Yeah, well, I
That's 'cause
understand. And like
he
Mike's
wasn't
told
reading-
us many times, you're not wrong until you're challenged. I mean,
But I'm just gonna have to vote to go ahead with it, just because if it stands, then it's gonna change procedure on amendments. From now on, I guess, couldn't it be? Couldn't somebody go back to this court ruling and challenge this on the basis of any zoning ordinance
They
amendment?
could, but generally trial court opinions are not precedential.
Okay.
So, but that, you know, if I was challenging, I'd sure rely on it, yeah.
Any further comment for the committee? Entertain a new motion.
Second, let's go.
We're out.